if your heart's aglow, wondering when all the stars come out. That's when you hear the sound echo from all around. Sing La Luna.
And I am back, and I'm gonna start from the beginning right now because I got stuck and I really wanted to do here just talk to you a little bit about what's new in Adobe Photoshop 2025. And you can see here I already typed something, but I don't want to do that. I started before just talking to you a little bit about what I'm going to do today. And what we have here is more 32-bit compatibility, Adobe fonts, distraction removal, improved generative fill, and improved generative expand, generate similar, and generate background. And next week I'm probably going to do some stuff with Adobe Photoshop 2025 beta, so we're gonna look at more stuff. So I have a list of what improved in 32-bit functionality, and I mentioned before I got stuck that my friend Jesus Ramirez from Photoshop Training Channel, big shout out for him because he's amazing. He made the list and I wanted to share it with you. So these are more features that you can work with. And the other way that you can work with today is you can go to Adobe Fonts. You have around 25,000 fonts or maybe more, and you can go and work with that. So when I'm going to share my screen, you're actually going to see my friend Jesus Ramirez list over here, and then I shared again this is what's new, and then you have the list of what's new with Adobe Photoshop 2025. I'm going to see who's joining us right now, and if you're joining us, I am in Los Angeles right now. It's 6:30. Actually, it's 6:40 already because I got stuck, and I'm sorry I got disconnected for a minute. And I'm gonna start right now. So I'm a little bit frazzled, when you get stuck all of a sudden, and then you have to start from the beginning. So I'm really happy I was able to start it again right now. And then I'm going to turn on the chat again so you can say hello. And then if you're saying hello right now, I'm just going to tell you that actually what happened is I started streaming and all of a sudden I got stuck. So I'm back over here and I'm jumping into Photoshop right now. And then I'm going to go and open this image over here that I have from Adobe Stock. And then what I have right now, I'm going to go into my new file over here. And then actually I'm going to go back here to my selection brush tool over here. And then over here I can have also the spot healing and remove tool. So that's how I used to do some stuff with cables like this. I actually used to create something with the path tool, and I used to go in and step by step actually fix stuff. But that's gonna be a lot of work because look what's going on over here. So I'm gonna go to the remove tool. And then if I go to the remove tool, now we have something absolutely new over here. I have sample or layers on, so I can create a new layer. And I'm going to call that remove cables. And now in find distraction, I have two things. I have wires and cables, and then I have people over here. So I'm going to go to wires and cables and see how fast it is going to work for me right now. And then all the way up, you can see I'm in automatic mode right now, and maybe I should just cancel the automatic mode over here. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. So that's by default. You may use some generative AI credit. You can say generative AI is on, but you can turn that off completely, and in some time it will work even faster because it doesn't go all the way up. And especially when you are streaming online, you can see it's going to be faster, and then also you don't waste some of the credits that you have, because each time that you play with something, you are going to waste, I mean not waste, but use some credit that you have. So I'm waiting to see how it works now. Hopefully my internet is working, and look at this, it's removing the area. It is okay, it's not as fast, but whoa, look what I have over here. So I'm going to go in before and after, and then if I'm looking, this is what the machine actually did for me automatically. Is that perfect? Let's talk about it for a minute. Maybe not perfect all the way, because you can see some cables, I still have them. Maybe some cables here that are not, but maybe these are the cables that I wanted. And then if I check it on and off, I can see all the way to the side. And if I want to be perfect, I'm probably going to zoom in and start looking at areas if I need. Like over here, you can see this area. It's kind of like when I zoomed in, maybe I need to change some stuff. Maybe all the way to the right, I need to change some stuff. So yes, you can go and change manually some stuff right now with the remove tool. But let's say I want to post it right away on social media and do something with this image. I think I did a good job right now, so it's looking pretty good. Let me check if we have some visitors, and then if you're visiting us, let us know where you are signing in from, and we can start the conversation. So you can see here, that's the before and after, and I think it was so fast and wonderful. And then of course now I can go back here and do some other stuff to it. The only kind of like stuff that I have, let me show you some things that might sometime not work, because if I go into edit and I'm going to sky replacement, and I'm going to go back here and put the sky over here in a second, look what I'm getting. So this is the stuff that sometime it is going to be a problem, because the cables are kind of like created a little hole in the area. And then I have that, so maybe I'm just going to go back here and put it here, but still you can see I have that. So if you need to do some other stuff and the sky replacement, you're going to start to like think about it and start working with it a little bit, and start maybe changing some stuff and also kind of work with that. But you can see over here, if I'm going to go to the mask, I'm basically going back to the same area. So some things are still not perfect over here, so maybe I'm not gonna do stuff over here with sky replacement, or maybe try to do the sky replacement before and see how it works for me. So if I did sky replacement over here, and then I'm going to go back here and try to go, and then again try all the time and see what works for you. So I'm going to go in find distraction, and I'm going to look at that. So what I really like to do when I have new features, see what works for me, what's not working for me, and start playing with it, because right now we're going to see that it's going to take some stuff and it might create a hole in there. So certain things it is hard to do, and then I'm going to have to do it maybe manually. But again, if I need to do a job like this and remove all the cables, look what's happening right now. So this is not something that I want to go and work with. But this is actually that, and let's look and move on to the next feature within the same area that we have over here. So I'm going to go to File, and by the way, I just made a mistake and made everything on the same area over here. So you want to make that on a separate layer so you can kind of like control it and not do it the way I just did it right now. So just remember to create a new layer, and then if I go back here, you can see I have my nice sky. So another thing that I can do, basically, am I going to be able to duplicate it and then create the sky and then bring it over and then mask it and do other stuff for it. But let's look at another image right now. So I'm going to go to File and Open, and I'm going to go to an image, and I'm going to look at when it works and when it doesn't work. So I'm going to go to one image and open that. So look what I have over here. I have the front people that kind of maybe they are the main subject in the area. And now I'm going to open a new layer, and I'm going to go to Find Distraction, and I'm going to go to People. So this is kind of up to you depending on the image that you get. Photoshop is going to make a decision which images are kind of like not part of the main subject that you have over here. So you'll see in a minute, Photoshop is going to cover and select for me the areas that they think maybe these people are not part of the image over here, and maybe they're going to be removed. So I'm waiting to see how it works, and then it says over here remove after each stroke over here. You can also sample or layer, so when you start manually to remove it, you can do it together, not remove after each stroke, and then start adding the stuff that you have. It takes a little bit slow right now for me for some reason, because my internet is not really playing great today for me, so it's not really with me today. So let's see how it works right now. And look at that, yay! So you can see all the areas that I selected over here. They're basically the areas that are sampled. If I go all the way up to my option, this is right now, the opacity is 25, but I can make it kind of like darker over here. I can make it with a different color. The default is magenta. I left it, but now Photoshop is telling me these are the people that are gonna go and not be over here in the area, and they're not gonna be part of your image. So what can I do over here? I can go and decide that I want to go in and eliminate some more stuff. So I'm going to eliminate this one, and maybe over here I just don't want this little green area here, and she's sitting on a patch. I don't want that. And maybe I'm going to go back here and see which one I want to go back and play with. And now I'm just going to go and click OK. And when I clicked OK, look what I have over here. I have the before and I have the after. So I do have some other stuff here that I didn't pay attention to, because this bag was actually belonged to the guy that was standing over here. So I can go in and start, and it is depending on the size of the brush that I have. I'm going to go back here and click on that, and maybe I'm just going to go in and click on this one. If you don't want it to do it in one each time, I'm going to turn off remove after each stroke. And now I'm going to go back here, and then you can see it is going to just play with it, and then I'm going to go back here and click OK. So now you can see the before and after. Do I like it? I'm not sure. I can go in and just remove the stuff? Absolutely. Can I copy it? Can I do content aware? Can I do other stuff with it? Absolutely. But this is one of the tools that goes in and find the people that distracting the area and taking them away. What happens if you have just two people and Photoshop thinks they are the main subject? So let's look at that. I'm going to go to File and Open right now, and I'm going to go to this two girls over here. That's, oh, I'm going to go in, I think I had the two girls over here. Oh, or maybe I didn't save them over here, but I'm going to go to this image. So this image, I don't know if Photoshop is going to figure out who's going to be and who is a distraction and who is not a distraction over here. So what I'm going to do over here, to find distraction and find the people, maybe they're going to think this kid on the left right side is a distraction, or maybe not at all. So sometime, and then this one is good actually when you have a big crowd and a lot of people in the background, or some people distracting somewhere all the way in the back. It's really a good tool for that, and it's going to go in and look at the stuff. And then of course you can go and say to the product team, do you like it, you don't like it, do you need some kind of improvement, because it is a new feature right now, so we kind of like want to know if we like it or not. And I say, hey, hi Roy or Peugeot, nice to see you. Let us know where you're signing in from, and if you used Photoshop before, and if you played with the new tools that we are featuring today. And then you can see it takes a long time right now. Maybe the image is a little bit too big. And then what happened over here, this is what I was thinking, because it is all in the foreground, so right now it didn't recognize it. But what happened if I'm going to, it says, cannot find the people who are not subject of the image. So they think everything is a subject of the image. But I can just go back here, and then if I close it over here and then say okay, maybe now, because I manually selected it now. So depending if it is a distraction or not a distraction, I can go back here and decide that I want to go and take away that, and maybe take away part of this area over here. So you can see, and I'm happy it happens because I just chose this image perfectly to show you that they were both in the foreground. So Photoshop thought they're both really interesting, so why shall I take the other person? It's not a distraction. But I have before and after, and I have everything here, and that's why it is good to do it to a different layer right away and see the stuff that you have. So this is basically working with distractions over here, and now we're just going to move on and play with some other stuff. So I'm looking at my list over here, and then we did the 32-bit compatibility, the Adobe font, and the distraction removal. So now I have like improved generative fill. And then I also have an improved generative expand, which you don't see it all the way right now. But if you go into Firefly 2, you'll see that it's a little bit different than Firefly 3. So I'm going to go into File and Open. And I'm just going to open an image over here. And then I have the kid jumping over here. And then I want to go in and expand it. And then I'm going to expand it here and expand it here. And then all the way up in my option, I see background default. So if I click OK, it just basically acts like a crop tool. And then I have generative expand, and then I have content aware fill. And a lot of time I'll see the difference between the two of them, and you'll see kind of like the difference. I'm going to go to generative expand, and now I can actually write a prompt over here and write something, but if I leave it empty and just do generate, now it is going to expand the area and it will give me 3 variation, and it's way better than it worked before. And look at that, and I have different variation over here. I have the first one, I have the second one, and I have the third one. So which one I like the best? I don't like this one so much because look what happened over here. Kind of looks a little bit weird. And then this one is a little bit better because the diploma still works perfect. And then this one, it is not good because all of a sudden I have an extra hat over here and something actually happened here which I don't like. So in this case, I might use again. And then I might even go and say, you know what, generate it again and give me maybe a better generation. So when you're working with generative AI, you don't have to agree right away to the results that you have. You can go and check it out again and again and see the variation that you get right now. And now I have different variation and maybe I like it. No, I don't like that because I got another hat. And then I like this one from before. So I might go in and change with this one right now. And then you have a reference image. So I can go back here to a reference image and just choose an image. And we're going to play with something. And then I'm going to choose an image that is going to be like a JPEG over here. And then I'm just going to go and generate. And let's see what we're getting over here right now when we are getting the generation right now. So it is slow. I have a little delay over here. Oops, not bad. I have another image. And look at this. I have a different kind of background. And then now it looks like it came from another place. And it came from another area. So this is the same front of the building, and now I had some more colors. But maybe I want to go back here and replace the image, and let's put something else in it. I'm going to put another background over here. And then I'm going to generate. Could I also go in and write something in the prompt in the area that I'm expanding? Absolutely, you can play with that. This looks a little weird over here. That's a little bit better because I'm kind of framed the area that I have, and I have the trees. I don't like this tree so much, so maybe I can use something like this and just play with that. So this is kind of like the generative expand that does a better job right now. And then let's look at the other way of working with it. I'm just going to go back here and revert it. So basically when I'm reverting it, I'm going back to the original over here, and then I'm going to go and expanding it. And in this case, what I'm doing, I'm going to content aware fill. And now it is going to think about what I had, and it's going to start filling it with an area. So this is the old way that it was before, that you didn't have it, and look what's happening right now. Not really great because I have hats all over and all kind of stuff here. And then if I'm going to the layers over here, you can see that I have it here and it's directly. So I actually shouldn't have done it like this. I should have gone into my, I should have duplicated it, Command or Control J to duplicate that, and then see what I'm going to get over here. But it is going to be the same idea over here, because the crow, I mean, it's going to go back here and then giving me this area over here. So now I have the before and after, and you can see the area below. So I didn't ruin anything, but that's what it's going to tell you. So you can see and agree with me in this case that generative expand, it's way better than content aware that we used before. And then if I need to use content aware, I use it for other stuff. So different ways to work with stuff. And then once you do that, you can start working with other features that you have. So this is really, I'm not going to use that. Command Z to go back here, and then I can go back here and basically revert it, and it goes for the original. Let's try something fun. Let's say I'm going to go in and click on that, and I'm going to go to generative expand, and then I'm going to click over here and write graduation hats and balloons. And let's see if the area that I'm expanded will just go in and get for me something else over here. And let's check it out. Whoa, not really great, but hey, this is my prompt, and I have the balloons over here, and I have another balloon over here. Not great, but expanded it with some balloons. Am I gonna go with this direction? Absolutely not, but I want to show you that you can. And then look at that, another hat went all the way up there, and it's really not the one that I want. So I'm just gonna take away the prompt and generate it again and see if I can save the image a little bit over here. So you can see you can go back and forth with these new tools. So some of them you worked with it before, but now Adobe is really improving it, and now you can see this is way better and this is way better over here. So once I have it over here, I can start playing with it and doing some other retouching to it. I can go to my layers panel, but look what I have here. This is what I have. So we can see that's the generative expand. So you can see over here that I have the images, and then I have what I expanded. So a lot of time what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here and converting it into a smart object. So if I want to add some kind of a filter to it, let's say I'm going to go to the filter gallery over here, and now it is going to include everything that I have as one thing. I can still double click on it and go back to each area that I have. So if I double click on it and go back to my properties panel, you can see I have that again. So if I'm just saving it, and then I'm going to go back to the key jumping, now you still see the filters, but you see the balloons because I went back and brought the balloons. So it's great to work with smart object. If you want to work with a regular layer, make sure you duplicate what you did before, so you can also go backwards and have some kind, like I call it, reverse engineering. So you want to go in and play with that. So the next thing that I want to show you is I'm going to go back here, and then I have an improved generative fill, and then I also have something called generative similar. So I'm going to go into file and open, and then depending where I'm going to go, I'm just going to go in to the graduate image, and this girl just graduated over here. And then let's wait to see if the image is coming. I have a little delay today, and I can see that the image is coming a little bit after, but what can we do? It is what it is today. You know, some days you have some difficult days. What can you do? So I'm going to go back here, and then I'm going to go into a selection brush, or I actually can go to any selection. But I'm just going to go back here and create some kind of a fun selection over here. And then in generative fill, I'm going to say a dog sitting and holding a flower. Maybe her dog is bringing her a flower right now. And I'm going to generate. Again, you can see I use the new tool, which is the new selection brush tool, which you can find it where the lasso tool is. So it is on top of the lasso. It's the first one that's there. And look what I have. I have this doggy, I have another dog that comes over here, and another dog that comes over here, and she kind of sitting there and very happy. I might generate again and see if I'm getting another dog right now. It always kind of makes me laugh because I'm not sure which dog I'm going to get, and then I have it here. So I have this one, and I have this dog over here, and this one is holding there. But that's not her dog. So I'm going to go back here to my panel, contextual panel over here, and what you see over here, you have a reference image. So it tells you over here, use both a reference image and a prompt to generate more specific images. If you leave the prompt blank, we will find the selection based on the surrounding that you have. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to choose an image. And of course I have a picture of my dog over here, and I'm going to click open. And then I'm going to generate. Well, I had only kind of a certain kind of an image of a dog, so it might not be so perfect, but I kind of wanted to show you that you can have an image that relates more. And this is my dog Ollie, and look at him right now, and look at him over here. So I'm looking at that, and then I don't have the flower, but that's okay. But I have my dog, and I can add a flower to it and do other stuff with it. And that's actually I have here, and then I can go in and generate. I can also say generate similar. I don't know what's going to happen right now because I do have my own dog over here, but even it carried the color and everything, and it looks like my dog is actually sitting next to her. And then that's a similar one. It doesn't look like him so much. I don't like it so much. I kind of like this one more. Or let's say, no, I like this one the best actually. This one I don't like at all. So let's see how the image is. This is actually my dog over here. So more or less, and then with animals it's going to look a little bit different, but more or less it gives you some kind of effect there, and then you see the generation that you have. So now of course I can go in and bring a flower, I can add some stuff over here. The only thing to pay attention to, if I'm going to go back here and move it, look what's going on. So just remember that, because it generates it, and then if you go back to the layer, basically this is what you have. This is what it generates for you, takes part of the environment and brings it over. You can move it around. Yes, now I can select it and then move just the dog and do other stuff to it, but this is basically what I got right now, and that's the dog. So if I want to be kind of really careful, maybe I can go in and draw something. I'm not sure, but I want to show you where the selection brush is. It's on top of the lasso tool over here, and you click on the letter L. That is going to be the first one. If you go in and do Shift L, it will toggle around and start getting the other selection tools. Also, if you tap on it and hold down the Option or Alt key, it will toggle around over here. If you don't want it, and if you wanted it just to be basically the L all the time, you can go to your preferences and turn off this option, and then each time you click the letter J, it will go in and cycle automatically through the area that you have. But you can see here I have the dog sitting over here, and another one, the dog sitting, and I'm just gonna go back here. So now I'm going to go to the brush, go into my brackets on my keyboard. The left bracket, it's going to make it smaller, and the right bracket, it's going to make it bigger. And I'm not sure, maybe I need to do something a little bit bigger, and I'm drawing that. And now in the generative fill, I'm gonna say red flower. And let's see if we're getting something. Or we might not get anything, or we just have our dog with our own. It doesn't really look exactly like my dog, but it has the dog's color. It's a black and white, maybe some kind of stuff. Not looking really great over here. So this is really not a good thing over here, and this is what I get here in my variation, and it's not looking really great. So again, I'm gonna go back here, and this is the red flower. So I might just do it with a different stuff later on when I'm going to go in, and next week I might show you a different kind of ways to start working with areas like that. And I might go back here and choose another image over here, and then if I choose again the image over here and then generate, maybe I'll get the dog again in a different view right now. And I'm watching to see, and I can see that, okay, so now it's really not looking great. So I'm just gonna go back here, and I just don't remove back here, and I just don't want to do that, and replace the image. So this is basically the improved generative fill. Let's look at other stuff. So I kind of wanted to have a Christmas tree. So I didn't find a Christmas tree. So what I did is I went in, and what I really did, I created a new file, and in the prompt I said green Christmas tree with lights over here. And I started like that in the beginning. And then I did another variation and another variation. And look at this, I have different kind of variation to the Christmas tree, and I end up kind of like choosing the one that I have over here. So what do you have over here? You can do a reference image style. You can also reference image style and effect to it over here. So I made it as a photo. I mean, I can go in and make it as art. I can make it in different kind of techniques. And if I go and generate, it will generate for me another Christmas tree. So really depending what you're doing, really I should have looked for a Christmas tree somewhere else. Ooh, look at that. That's not bad at all. Hopefully I can go in and maybe I can go and select it or something. So when I have it over here, I can go and duplicate it. And after duplicating it, I'm just going to go back here and convert it to a layer. And the reason I duplicate it, because I wanted to maintain the variation. So I still have the variation, but this one is a layer. And then I can try to remove background. And then I'm not sure that I'm going to go back here. And then you can see here, it didn't really remove the background for me so much, and it didn't do like a good job over here. So basically this is what I have here, and I can go in and see a background, or I can just go in and do something else with it. So it didn't do something really great, but I had another image over here that maybe I can go back here to my properties, and then if I'm looking at the other image, you can see that I can go and look and see the variation from before. So I'm going to go to an image that has a Christmas tree already there, and then I think the image that I have, it's over here. And there's a very small Christmas tree right now over here. I'm looking at the screen, and this is so not cool that I have so much delay today. But it is what it is, what it is. So I'm just going to go to my brush. And I'm going to... And I don't even need to do anything else. I'm just going to go and select around it, and it just makes it. So now what I have over here, I can go back here and generate the fill that I have here, or I can go back here and click on the generate fill, and I can say Christmas tree. And before, when I played with it, it didn't really work for me so much. It didn't really go and identify it. And what I really want to tell you, that sometimes things are not going to work, but that's actually kind of cool. I got a nicer Christmas tree. Hallelujah, I like that. I don't like this one, but I like this one over here. And now I can decide how do I want to go and work with it. So if I want to bring my Christmas tree, I can click here and choose an image. And I do have a Christmas tree that doesn't look so good. And then I'm going to generate, and now you're going to see that I get the Christmas tree that I selected from before, and I kind of like brought it over here. So different ways to work, and that's the improvement. And look what I'm getting. Not that bad. Before that I played with it, it was horrible, and now it's not bad. Okay, it is a weird Christmas tree, and look at that. This one brought some kind of a building. This one brought, oh, that's actually a little bit better, but maybe I like this one. I don't know. I never know which one I want to work. And I can actually add this little frame over here. I can add additional stuff to make it a little bit better if I want. The only thing is, if you go to your layers panel, if I'm going to go in to, let's say, brightness and contrast, and then just play with the contrast, that's going to be basically a global contrast for everything that I have. And then I'm going to click over here. I can also go back here and maybe do some kind of hue and saturation, and you're getting different kind of colors over here. And then if I want to go to a layer mask, I can go to my gradient and then decide that I'm going to kind of cover some stuff, and look at that. I'm going to have some nice Christmas tree over here, and then I can start working with it a little bit. It doesn't look perfect. It doesn't look like exactly part of the image, but the whole idea is that you can start matching some stuff and see what you have. I wonder if I can go back here and click on this area over here and then look at the distractions, because I do have some people over there. And maybe it will catch them and take them away from me. Or maybe not. This is what I like with playing with AI. It's always something that I can play with. It's not the final solution that I have over here. It's inspiration. I'm taking it for something that helps me create something, but it's not the final. I can also go into the tools that I know in Photoshop and start fixing it, and nobody's gonna know that I actually used AI, because that's my idea of working. And then you can see it's looking to find, but maybe has some problems to find it, because I do have some people over here. If you guys can see that, if I zoom into it, you can see that I have some people in there. And it is taking too long over here. Maybe the image is way too big and it is hard for it just to go in and look at it. So what I'm going to do is it found it. It found it over here. And then I'm going to add also this one as a distraction. And then maybe I'm going to go to a smaller brush and take away some stuff over here. And let's see if I'm going to get, I should have done it to a different layer and I forgot. Not good. But whatever it is, you can see it took away the people. It did pretty good job for me. I cannot do the before and after because I actually forgot to create another layer, but I should do that because that's when you see the before and after. And if you don't like the stuff that you see, that's when you can go back here. And so I'm just gonna go now and create another layer, but actually I don't want to see all these flowers over here. Just decided I don't like these pink flowers. So let's check it out and then see, and then you can see that. And all the stuff that I did right now, I didn't use any of my credits over here. You can see the generative, it's off, and then I don't want to, you know, like use my credit. The rest of the stuff, of course, I can do sky replacement. I can play with other stuff. And then if I did a sky replacement over here, I wonder how it's going to look, because I have my new Christmas tree over here. I always check it out with other stuff, because look, that's what you get, because I have the whole area selected, and the sky replacement is basically kind of like not part of that. So I'm gonna have to figure out to play with it a little bit and make it look that it is part of the image over here. And this is the tree over here. And then I'm just gonna go back here. I can group it, and then I can go back here to a brush, and then I'm gonna go and zoom in. And then you can see here, if I go in and work with one Wacom tablet, I can remask it very, very carefully over here and get kind of like my nice sky replacement. I have a delay over here right now, but you can see here, you have to be really careful, because look what you're getting. You start getting some stuff that was there before. So you have to do like a really good job of masking, or maybe even now go in and do the clone tool and play with it. If it is so important for you, after doing it, do the sky replacement. If it's not important, that's okay as well. And now I'm going to show you some other stuff and show you how to work with that. So let's say I went to, okay, this image. And if I'm going to select this image and create a layer mask, so what does it mean? I'm going to go in and select this image, and not do a good selection right now, but let's say I'm going to create that, pretend it's a good selection. And then I'm going to go back here and create a layer mask. So once I create a layer mask from it, and I can fix it a little bit, I don't have any actually way to go in to work with the replace and bring the background that you have. So this is kind of like something that didn't work out yet. So you have to do it really in a different way. So what you really have to do here first is actually remove the background. And then look at this. That's not a very good image. So I'm going to go back to File and Open. And I'm going to take another image over here that works a little bit better. And then I'm going to go in and remove the background. So I'm going to open this image. And then I'm just going to go back here and then remove background. I don't like this image either. That's not a good one. I'm going to go open that. Should be kind of like a simple image that I want to go in and remove the background. What am I having over here? Let's say I'm going to go to this girl. And then I'm going to zoom out. And then I'm just going to go back here, make it a layer, and remove the background. Not a bad thing over here. It is a mask, so it is okay. And I'm just going to go in and take the other images over here. But because it is a mask, and then I can go back here and turn off the mask by holding down the Shift key. I can see already what I did, and I can see that it's not actually a bad selection. Look at that. It did really a nice selection. The only thing that I have here, I'm just going to go back here to my brush and maybe bring back this area over here, and then I can see here that it's going to be part of the stuff that I have here on the hair. I loading the selection. This is what I'm getting over here, and if I turn it on and off and deselecting, this is what I have over here. So I might just go back here and then go back here to white, and I'm going to go and add to the selection a little bit. And then it is a delay right now with my brush, so I'm not liking it as much, but it is what it is. And then I'm just gonna go back here and bring the brush over here. So let's say I have the image over here, and let's see what's going on right now. So now when you have it over here, you can go back here to the image itself, and all the way down in the contextual panel, you have over here that you can go in and edit the background, but all the way back here in the remove background over here, you can go back here and kind of like work with the stuff, edit the background, and basically go back here, and all the way down you can say import background or generate a background. So let's generate a background, and let's say we're gonna give it a nice way, and then say waterfall with clear blue water and small yellow birds on the trees. I'm making it up. Sometime I'll prepare something and I'm looking to see at the background that I'm going to go in and generate. And then this is what I'm getting over here, and then I'm getting one over here. I made it blue water, so it's kind of like weird. I have another blue water over here, and I have another one here. So I'm gonna do waterfall and small, and I'm just gonna change the prompt a little bit. Waterfall with small yellow birds and then generate it. So I didn't even see the birds before. I see some kind of birds, but it's really not looking good. But that's a little bit better. And I'm gonna go and get this one over here, and I have another one over here. Let's say I want to go in and she's sitting on some kind of a waterfall. It's not real, but whatever it is, we are playing, right? So we all good. Hey Barbara, nice to see you. No, it's okay. Well, I did have a lot of technical difficulties, so I started and then I crashed and then I came back, and I have a real delay today, so it is kind of like a little crazy today, but it is what it is. But thank you for coming. So look at what I have here, and let's check it out and see what we don't like that. So I'm gonna have a layer that I didn't like, but look what happened here. If I turn off, this is what it does for you when it creates the background. So what I really don't like over here, that whatever I have over here and remove the background, if I'm gonna go here and move her over here, I'm gonna get a hole. Well, I can go in and fill the hole with something. So I can go back here to the hole, and then I'm just gonna go back here and click inside the hole that I have, and then I'm gonna say generative fill and generate, and if I don't put anything in there, it is going to generate something. But kind of like what it does is when it is generating a background and look at that. So now basically that's what it did over here. It took the side, and then I have her, and that's not something that I want. Absolutely not what I want. So how do I do that without actually creating the hole over there? So really what I want to do is I'm going to go to the layer over here, and then I'm going to go back here, and then you can see this is the hole over here, this is the hole over here, but I'm going to the layer itself, and I'm basically going to go back here and generate image. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going to either even go to an inspiration image over here, and I don't feel, let's say if I have any kind of waterfall or something over here, let's say I have something that looks like this. Why not? California, a view of an empty tropical beach. I don't want an empty tropical beach, but I'm going to go back here, and let's say I'm going to go in blue ocean waves splashing on white glittering marble, realistic photo, high resolution. And then I'm just going to go and generate. So what I'm getting right now is I'm generating the entire image. And then I could have done the same prompt from before, but in this case, I have something that I have over here, and then basically I generated something. So now I have the girl over here, and then if I start moving her, you see I don't have a hole over here at all, and then she's just sitting there on top of the area. Of course, I can go into the prompt over here, and then I'm just gonna go back here, and I'm going to say a garden with nice benches and a waterfall in the background. And then, by the way, if you have problem finding some prompts, there's a lot of sites that give you ideas of prompt, and you can copy and paste the stuff here, and then you don't have to start thinking. And then look at that, now she's sitting over here, and again, this is her over here. I removed the background. I can actually go back here, and once I remove the background, I'm just gonna go in and convert her to a smart object, and then I'm just gonna go and make her a little smaller over here, and maybe I'm just having her inside the garden, and then even smaller or whatever the size is. And then once I have that, I can go in to my gradient tool, and I'm gonna go in and create some kind of a layer mask or whatever it is. Of course, it's not actually realistic what I'm doing right now, but you can see that I did whatever I played with, and I removed the background, but now I don't have a hole. So I kind of like more, and this is the one, see, it's not completely not looking great. And then if I had her from before, I don't get this hole over here when you do the remove background. So again, think about it before you do that and start kind of like playing with it. I'm just gonna go back here, and then if I'm going to look at the selection that I have, if the selection is not kind of perfect, I'm going to zoom into it a little bit, and then actually it doesn't look so bad. But if it is looking and you have some white areas there, you can always go to filter and other and go to minimum over here and make that to roundness a little bit and play with the radius a little bit, and see that the white area is going to go. And look at this, this is too much, and this is, I'm gonna make it really small, and then I click here and zoom out, and it looks a little bit better. Again, I don't need to have her here if I don't want, and now I can start just playing with the stuff over here and adding different kind of things to my garden. So I can have birds, I can go back here and have something else to it. I can go back here into edit, and I can try to do the sky replacement, and see I'm getting that, and it's looking a little bit better. And now I can start taking the stuff. So a lot of time what I do actually, if I kind of like generate an image, I will take certain stuff from here or certain object, and based on that I'm going to start building something else. So it's different kind of things that you want to go and work with, and it doesn't also have to be the last solution while you're working. Let's just do one more thing over here. I'm just gonna go into my, let's look at a fun image, and let's look at that. So what I have over here, it is a kind of like a fun looking image, and then I can go into my, and then again I can actually go back here and select if I don't want to work with that. And a lot of time I will go to a selection like this. So over here I'm going to the pen tool, and I'm going to go back here to the mirror, and then I'm just gonna go back here, and once I have that I'm going to the path panel, command click on the thumbnail, I'm loading the selection, and now I'm going to go back to generative fill, and then I'm going to say a monster looking from inside the mirror. And let's see what I'm getting into this selection that I have over here. And it's going to go and generate something for me. And then I'm going to get something. Ooh, look at that. This is what I have in the mirror right now. I didn't expect that, but look at this. Yay! Halloween is over, but look what I get here. And maybe I have that over here. And that's something that I wanted to go in and work with. But I could have had my own monster over here and put it in there, or I can put anything else in there that I had, and I can have something. So what does it mean? I'm just going to go back here, and I can choose an image. And then let's say I'm going to put my doggy over there. And then I'm going to generate. And let's see if they squish my doggy and putting him inside this selection right now. Yay, yay. Whoa! Like that. Look at this. So now I have my dog looking over here at the mirror, and I can decide this is what I want to go in, and I have it inside the mirror. So I can start putting different kind of things over here in the image that I have. And then I can go in and create and different kind of stuff, and then do kind of like different kind of references. Another thing that I can do over here, I can go to my layers panel, and then maybe I'm going to go to a new layer, and now I'm just going to go in and generate something. So I'm just going to go in and look at the samples for inspiration right now, and I'm just going to click on that, and let's see if I'm going to get something super, super colorful over here. And yeah, and look at that. So now I have this little inspiration, and I have something that absolutely colorful over here. But I'm just gonna go back here, and then if I'm going to different kind of mode, I can go into a little area here, and I have my image inside the area, and then I might go into the opacity over here and just play with it, and all of a sudden I have different kind of a background over here, and then I can start playing with masking and things like this. I'm just gonna go into the doggy and make him to a smart object, and then I'm gonna go back here, and then I'm just gonna go back here to okay, and it is going to transform the path because the selected portion of the path. So I'm just going to go back here and then see if I can go in and click on that and make him a little smaller. So, and that's what happened. If it is smaller, it's just going to take the entire dog over here, and it's going to be a double mirror inside the area. So you have to take that into consideration, because it's really inside the mirrors that you have over here, and he is part of the mirror. But I'm just going to go and do escape over here. So again, I can go and select the doggy, and then decide that if I double click on the dog, I can go back here and decide that I want it, and maybe I want that. So I'm gonna go save that, and then I'm going in, and now I have the abstract over here, and it is looking a little bit fun. And then I'm just gonna go to this texture, and then either going to a brush or just a gradient. And you can see right now the background has my nice area that I created, and I can start actually working and create different kind of stuff here. So what I'm really trying to tell you with this all kind of stuff, you can also go back here and always do similar stuff to the things that you have. You can also go into everywhere that you have and do the generate that you have over here. So I'm going to go back here and then replace image style and effect. I can go in and do a reference. So I'm just going to go in and make it as a photo, and then make it as a different effect, and then go back here and create something completely different. So you have some new things that you can start playing with them, and they're giving you more variation to take that and start playing with it. So look at this. I have one over here, and sometime I will duplicate the two of them and put them kind of one on top of each other. So you're gonna go in and get some stuff with it. At the moment, what I have here, and then I'm just gonna go in, and this is actually my monster over here. If I double click on the monster over here, I might just go in and play with it, and then just go back here and just select the monster over here, and then maybe duplicate it. So now all what I did over here is I have just the monster over here. So if I save it, and then I'm gonna go back to the abstract over here, I do have just the monster over here as a standalone. I can double click on it. I can go into filter. I can say convert to smart filter over here, and then I might go back here. I'm not gonna do the neural filters now because I'm afraid I'm going to crush, but I might go, let's say, to a filter gallery and then create something with a guy and have him look a little bit different. And then I'm just gonna go click OK, save it, and then I'm gonna go back here and look what I have. So I do have him right now, and I changed him, and now he has a filter, and then it is inside over here. So it's kind of like a standalone, and then I'm just gonna go in, and if I go in and make him smaller right now, you see he's inside the mirrors right now. So you can do different kind of things over here, and then take the AI and make it your own. So now I have few little monsters over here, and then I could have duplicated them over there and just do different kind of things. But look what I have here. I can make it into a smart object and create something else with it. So we can create different kind of things. So the whole idea was today, but some of you came a little bit late, is basically to show you what's new in Adobe Photoshop 2025. And then I have the list here, which I don't know where I put it right now because we worked so much with it. So if I go into file, and I'm going to do the recent, and then I'm going to go to what's new. This is what we have over here, and we went through this list over here to generate the background, generate similar, improve generative expand, improve generative fill, distraction removal, working faster with fonts, and then more tools than working with 32-bit colors. I also mentioned in the beginning when after I crushed, so in this session you didn't really record it, I mentioned that we are going to stop actually streaming December 16. I think my last one is going to be December 11 because Behance is discontinuing the feature of live streaming. I'm going to try to find another venue to stream, but the good news about it is that you are not going to lose the videos that I already have in the streaming area. So I think I have over 200 videos. You can still go to them. They're going to maintain that, but actually they are going to stop doing it. So unfortunately, I thought it was an amazing service, but it is what it is. Anyway, so hope you enjoyed all the new feature in Adobe Photoshop 2025. And with that, I'm going to come back next week and we do another what's new, either Photoshop 2025 beta or what's new in Illustrator 2025 or Illustrator and InDesign. We're going to take a look at different kind of subject to play with. I'm not sure I'm going to be around the evening before Thanksgiving. So we're going to take a break and then I'm going to have another 2 weeks and then we're going to say goodbye and maybe we'll meet in another streaming feature. Thank you all for coming and I will see you next week. Hopefully I'm not going to crush again. Thank you everybody. Keep creating and I'll see you next week.